Welcome back to Louisville, the host city for the College Cup. Lynn Family Stadium becoming a soccer city. Racing Louisville and the NWSL, Lou City from the USL, and of course you got 4th Street Live. The party will be kicking tonight. Who's going to be celebrating? Will be Notre Dame or Oregon State. Notre Dame's been to this position before. 7 guys in the starting lineup were part of the 2021 College Cup team that failed to move past the semifinal against Clemson. Our Bulldog, Marianne Crowder, has more on that squad.
So, Dallin, I want you to imagine this. It's 2021, and you end the season on this very stage as one of the top 4 teams in the country. The very next year, you barely go 500, and you have a losing conference record. Well, that's what happened to this Notre Dame side, and here they are back on this very stage in 2023. So what changed? Well, the first spring meeting they had, they looked around at each other and said, this is unacceptable. And in the spring, they needed actions to match their words. So they took a team trip to the United Kingdom, and multiple players said that that was the turning point for this 2023 season as the number 2 national seed, the highest seed they have earned since being the number 1 seed in 2014.
Let's go. Here we go. Chad Riley's crew. It's been pretty consistent, but Matt Rue is who you want to focus on, a 10-goal scorer on the season.
One of the things tactically that you want to be careful of here if you're Notre Dame is you want to make sure that you don't let Oregon State settle on possession. So that starts up top with Matt Rue. Notice that I'm not talking about the goals. I'm talking about his speed, the ball at his feet, his allowance to put pressure on this back line that wants to possess as much as possible. But how are they going to do that? In the absence of your All-American and Javier Marcic, captain of the back line, another captain, Nicholas Lund, steps in. As they pivot out, Newman comes high. That's a lot of pressure on a junior that does not have a ton of starts in the center of this back 3 as they build going forward.
Logan Farrington, that's their All-American. That's no question about what he can do. He can score the ball. He's been outstanding on the season, 15 goals. The transfer from Milwaukee. Matt Rue, first-team All-ACC. These are all-conference players, Offensive Player of the Year, and Farrington, Rue, first-team All-ACC selection. Getting ready to battle it out. David Erbacher, our center official. And here we go. Oregon State is in uncharted territory without their coach, Greg Dolby, the Notre Dame alum, a man that's won the championship as assistant coach for his alma mater, Fighting Irish 2013, cannot be here. Can Notre Dame move forward to the College Cup final for the first time since 13 when they hoisted that trophy? All to play for. The Clemson Tigers waiting in the wings. Semifinal number 2 underway. Turner Humphrey heads it down. Farrington's touch. He springs forward. Got Dante Williams to his right. Williams is in a great period of form right now. To his left, Frank Cortillo. He tries to put it in. Early corner created. He hypes up the bench. Oregon State got a good supporting section here from Corvallis. Obviously Notre Dame a little bit closer in terms of geography. Cortillo to take. Junior from Valencia. Heavy Spanish influence within this team. Grew up in the Valencia Academy as well. Famed and prestigious La Liga club. Outswing, ball cleared out. Chased down by Andrew Degon. There's Dante Williams. He'll serve it up, skips in, and right to the hands of Dowd. And a little collision in the back. And Josh Ramsey, slow to get up, holding his head, but he's up on his feet. Played up to the feet of Rue. So Devin, we touched on Javier Armas' suspension. How does he change, has his absence changed this Oregon State team, if at all?
The way that this team likes to build is certainly possessionally based. And so you look at it and it's a 4-4-2, okay, but they come high on the right-hand side with Enzo Newman. So as they do that, the back line just shifts out. Turner Humphrey crumbs over. Andrew Degon, he just kind of sits there. And that middle spot from Javi Casas, he's the general, and he controls everything. Where the distribution is going to go. Are we playing out? Are we playing in? Now that's on Nicholas Lund. And again, this is a team captain. It's a guy who, as the season has gone on, they change themselves structurally. They move personnel around. he was unfortunately one of the guys that was a victim of their success. He had to come off the bench. He will be influential in a game. We just haven't seen him do it from the get-go. So what does the pressure feel like from a team that a lot likes to build in a three and comes from the center spots to then get going forward?
He has not started a match since playing against UW as Daniel Russo goes down on November 9th. Similar question that I asked you as Bryce Bonneau is on the ball. Nathan O'Brien now. 7 guys have started in this match today, started in 2021. Devin, how much, if at all, does experience play, and not just experience like institutionally for Clemson? These dudes have been on the field.
To me, it's more of a deja vu thing because there's a very similar story that Marion Crowder, our sideline analyst, told us about how it wasn't acceptable in springtime meetings. Well, in 2021, en route to their College Cup appearance in springtime, they had a very similar conversation. At that point in time, now professionals Mo Omar, Phil Quinton, and 2 captains, I might add, said, last year was bad. The spring isn't good enough. What do you want to get out of the rest of the way? The fact that you've seen it before, you've heard those words before, I've said it to you, Dallin. I like the pride. Because at the end of the day, you want to walk up field holding your head high. Pro aspirations are great. Education, 100% agree with. But we all start to play the game because we want to win.
And that's what they've done this year. Only 2 losses on the campaign. They did get upset in the quarterfinal at home against Louisville in the ACC tournament. Prior to that, they hadn't lost since early October. Excuse me, late September, pardon me, to Michigan State.
Guys, I do think it's important to note when we're talking about experience and we're talking about leadership, Armas is actually on the sideline. He can be on the sideline. He just cannot be dressed in a kit. He is up coaching just as much as the other 4 Oregon State Beavers coaches. So yes, they lose it on the field, but his leadership is still here on the sideline.
That's a great point, Marion. Sergi Noose and Jared Brookings took over the coaching duties. We'll chat more about that. Ball whipped in back post and just over the head of Arrington. And the coaching duties being divvied up between those 2 coaches. But here is Armas. Needless to say, the young man, I feel awful for him in this situation, but he looks tense as you would imagine. Nothing he can do in his college career now is over. It's terrible, but it's understandable.
You can still be impactful though, right? You can't be involved in team activities prior to the game, but you can come in to have that presence on the sideline. You still got the vocal side of things. Again, this is a team that, we've had a couple of conversations with these organizations about their aha moments. They've certainly had one too, and had a 4-0 drubbing against Stanford earlier this year. They were a 500 team. I mean, they looked around and said, listen, we got to find a way to be more impactful. So Greg Dolby said, listen, we got to change some things around. Dante Williams coming off the back line and moving higher up to be the complement to Logan Farrington, part of it. But within all of that change, you need a constant. And to be able to have him as a guiding light, understandably so from the sideline, it's still a beacon that can help you get to where you want to go.
He still can have that voice and have that influence from the sideline. Not the same as being on the pitch, but he's able to be there. But both assistants, Sergi Noose on the right screen there, and Jared Brookings on the left. Jared coming over from assistant coach Davidson. Sergi actually played at Duke and at transferred into UVA and ended up here with Coach Terry coming over, bringing him over from Oregon State, who was at UVA. And this program has been built up for the last couple of years. I mean, they had made it to 5 out of 6 tournaments, 4 straight, the Elite 8 2 seasons ago, but they still have never been to this point in the tournament. Battling hard is Jacob Zapien. David Urbacher pulls it back. Devin's download, alliteration, and education. Tell me.
We're working through, is that we workshopping that name or we're happy with it, right?
I mean, you tell me, bro. Hold on. You'll tell me right now. Because Patty Burns is charging up the left. You can tell me now. Go ahead.
It's a next man up type deal, right? Because this team, in the absence of Javi Casas on the back line, that's one thing for Nicholas Lund to step into it. But then with their rotation, with the pressure, they've got to find a way to make sure that they're creating the 2v1s. It was a key component talking to Oregon State head coach Greg Bowlby about, they feel like they've got a chip on their shoulder. They've certainly played the underdog role, but who's going to step up in the next position? Because Logan Farrington's a name, But recently, it's been Dante Williams.
Dante's been really
We've
good.
seen how good he's been. Enzo Newman, a guy who was just a brief glimmer in this team's playing early on in the season, irreplaceable in the team sheet on the right-hand flank, who's so good in their build going forward. So the next guy up, the next opportunity, go take advantage of it.
Jacob Sapien, the freshman here, limping off, San Diego, California native, grew up in the LA Galaxy Academy. He's had a lot of appearances with the Galaxy 2 and USL. But Coach Dalby, praised him yesterday, how critical he and Perry Belmont are in the middle of the pitch for them and kind of just dictating things. But he just pulled up and went down, and that's a concern, because if he can't go, that would be another key guy in the middle of the pitch gone. He does not look happy.
And immediately on the sideline in front of us, we're seeing number 23, the Argentinian Tomas Bederet, very active. Out of respect to every player wearing a black jersey tonight in Oregon State, they're my favorite. Perry Belmont and Sapien in the midfield. They just allow the team to go express themselves, because with that pivot that I talked about on the back line and the two strikers who stretch it up top, that's the engine that holds everything together.
And now the thing again with your head coach gone, you can go through all the situations and our normal substitution patterns, but then what are we? 7 minutes into a match, you have a potential injury you've got to manage for. Not easy.
Well, the concern that, I should say, concerns that you and I talked about were twofold. There was an injury late in the game, and how would you adjust? Or a behavioral problem, right?
Yeah.
If you picked up a card and had to make a move, and instead, right around the 10-minute mark, and that's unfortunately not the look that you want to see for Jacob Sapien headed down the tunnel. I would imagine being in the locker room, unfortunately, for that young man. One hopes that maybe it's to see the trainer get a little help and bring him back out.
Sure hope so. Lund sends that up into the stratosphere. This is a patented Notre Dame thing. You will still see Kyle Genenbacher, the junior from St. Louis, will stride forward to give it a long throw. Put some pressure. Mitch Ferguson, center back, comes forward, number 2. Sophomore, just back healthy, had his first game in over a month. Last game in the quarterfinal. Looking for Ferguson, doesn't get it. Portillo now scoops up the ball. Scott Williams making a big run up front. And we'll try to play it to Williams, but Ramsey read it the whole way. As Dowd blasts it into touch, the newly minted first-team All-American and goalkeeper of the year. What's the download for the Notre Dame?
It's never going to stop with you, is it?
No. I didn't know we're branding our own segments here. Bodies are flying everywhere. Tell me what you're watching.
I said don't get burned, because the idea is just in behind. Long ball's in behind, the space up in front of it that it creates, and not to allow that to burn you in transition, because this Oregon State team, they want possession, they can build. But some of the best football that I've seen of that is some of the quick fire options coming forward, where it is a 2 or 3 man game, quick up over the top and making you pay.
Talked about Notre Dame, well stated play. Genenbacher charging forward, but eventually dispossessed. Talked about Oregon State as being the underdog story. They're carrying the chip. They did say, yeah, we've rolled through this thing. We've been proud of what they've accomplished in terms of the seeds they beat. Portland was a seeded team. SMU was the number 6 team. They beat them 7-1 on their own field. Give us number 2. We'll take them down too. This Notre Dame team, though, carries a chip on their shoulder. They were picked second to last in their division in the ACC. Again, overlooked. And even when they were scoring goals, they scored 2 goals a game. Everybody looks at them and only a defensive team, and they're so solid. They carry that with them, that people continually doubt their style of play and their results.
Well, I would disagree with it. And you and I have talked about that all season long, but the reason being, really for me, it's 2. One is the depth, but the depth that the luxury provides you going forward. And even in the chat with the guys like Patty Burns and Brian Dowd, we talked about the difference from 21 to 23, and they said, a little less direct. Not as many long throws. They were quick to have a laugh about it.
They were funny, because yes, that team was built around Jack Lynn and some advantageous situations they capitalized on. This team is different.
Hard-nosed defense.
Yep.
Let's play direct up over the top, going the other way. Very one-dimensional. That's not the case here. If Daniel Russo can't find a way to cut in and get on that beautiful left foot,
Daniel Russo is going to fight.
He's going to fight, absolutely. But if Matt Rue's not there, if Nolan Spicer's not there, if KK Bafour is not there, I've just gone through 4 players, and we can go through 4 more. That's how good they've become in terms of personnel and the luxury that Chad Riley has in squad selection. That was a very different conversation in 2021, where they were really running about 13 deep. They had rotational guys, but not ones that could come off the bench and make an impact like we see here this year.
Turner Humphrey tracks it down, lays it back to Luis Castillo, the sophomore from Control Spain. Bryce Bonneau, third team All-ACC this year, and you see the record in 21. They also won the ACC tournament that year, which was impressive to say the least. Missed the College Cup that next year, and here we are after that unacceptable 22 season, as I said. Russo cuts inside. Bryce Bonneau pings it out to Patty Burns. The leaders from Northern Ireland. KK bat 4 got a red card in the Western Michigan game. They played 83 minutes in that. Might get through to bat 4. It does. He gets it on the right peg. Finally decides to take a shot. It's deflected. Good control. Russo on it. But Devin, how difficult? You're playing down to 10 men for 83 minutes. They win. They get to extra time. They get to penalties. Win in penalties. The Spicers cleaned out. That showed quite a bit about what this team is made of.
Well, it's the war of attrition in the NCAA tournament, right? And then the run to it. And we have conversations all the time about the level of difficulty, whether the ACC tournament, with a lot of coaches like to talk about, they all have their own opinion. Most people look at it as the best conference in college soccer. You decide for yourself. And then the NCAA tournament, which one is harder? The travel, the mental side, though. That's where it really sticks out for me, because you play 80% of a game down to 10 men, then you turn around.
Turned over. Spicer might be there. The freshman lays it off to Rue. Nobody takes a shot. Spicer's still there. He goes down, no call. Almost a turnover in a terrible area, or was a turnover, almost penalized for it. Now Burns battling, and Ramsey battling with Farrington.
You turn around in a week's time, you got to play Indiana.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, if you've been living under a rock for the last 40 years,
they're pretty good.
They can play a little bit of Indiana boys.
Pretty good.
And they pushed them. They pushed them to the brink and beyond, and certainly had to go the distance and penalties. And so I don't want to say it's easy to sit there and say, we're ready, and we've been through this, and we've seen it before. They've been through a lot in the past 2 weeks, right? So to keep getting up off the mat, so to say, on you, better teams for sure. Notre Dame was within all those games, but to keep getting up and taking punches, that's why I said coming into the game, establish a rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, maybe throw a punch of your own just to feel like you're a bit more overconfident.
Back to the gun. Sophomore from Trinidad and Tobago. Farnos, Williams in a little pocket of space. Pings it out, looking for Cortillo. Couldn't bring it down.
Love that, though, and the quick side-to-side for Oregon State. This is where they can get you. We've talked twice already about how when Enzo Newman comes, you have to make a decision defensively if you're within the Notre Dame midfield, because Arnal Farnos, he starts to slide in, and you're looking, do I go with Betteret? Do I go Perry Belmont? And then as Dante Williams comes, he says, okay, you guys are going to step up a little bit and close them down. I'm happy to take that space and go the other way.
Barrington's happy to take this space too. Dancing through, he goes down. David Erbacher says, get up. Saw that shot at Chad Riley, the coach in his 6th year at Notre Dame. Reigning now ACC Coach of the Year for the performance they've turned in 2023. Unbeaten in ACC play. They'd never accomplished that. Number 2 overall seed. He was a great player himself at Notre Dame. Former 3-time All-Big East player. 2nd career assists. Like, he's been a player, done everything at Notre Dame. But he did say that last game against Indiana, when you saw the clips, folks, when they won that game in penalties, the storming of the field with thousands of people and students were there was what he had dreamt of since he was a player at Notre Dame. To see that type of scene and that type of passion for football. Not American football, obviously, at Notre Dame.
Thanks for the clarification.
Well, I mean, when you say football at Notre Dame, we get in trouble here. So that was a special moment for him that he's going to carry with him. And it was wild. It was a great scene.
The different dimensions that Notre Dame give you this season as we compare it to the 2014. Was 2021. Really like the possessional capability of Gendenbacher at the right back spot. He'll invert himself. How high does Patty Burns get involved in the attack? it's tit for tat, right? You want to get them going. You want to add different layers to this team going forward. But as you go, that allows more space to open itself up.
That out to Williams. He gets on the right peg. He's dangerous. Flex. And the comfortable arms of Dow, goalkeeper of the year in the ACC and All-American now today, and a Mac Herman semifinalist as well. Take a look. This was the scene after that IU win. You don't see many field stormings in soccer. Very cool.
I think the last time, correct me if I'm wrong, that you and I witnessed that was probably the Marshall, Indiana game in 2020, right?
We were there for that
Down
one, which was cool. The dog pile in the corner when they won the championship in that fashion. But Syracuse last year, when they won their semifinal game in the ACC championship as well, to come from behind at UVA, there was a field storming there as well, which was pretty cool. I think there were more people at Notre Dame though. And carrying the flag was always nice too.
Guys, I will say from the women's side, that very much reminds me of the BYU team. They get an insane amount of fans, and I think we can all agree that outside of the professional level, seeing soccer grow at this stage, and this Notre Dame team is really embodying that, totally integrated with the student body. As a former player myself, it's just something incredible to see.
Yeah, the integration with the student body, they don't live in separate dorms, they don't live in separate houses or apartments. They're paired with random Notre Dame students, and they get to have that experience, and that's what's cool about. They said the fans coming to the game, those are our friends that we've made. And you were a former athlete, as was I. We were segregated away after freshman year.
Blown away that they were together.
It's not how it usually works. That was really cool. He missed the Louisville game where they got upset due to injury. And Lund coming to dap him up, say, "All right." The junior from Germantown, Wisconsin, is part of the Indy 11 USL crew growing up. ACC all-freshman team, and as we mentioned already, first team all-ACC. Nathan O'Brien set to take it. He'll play it back to the center back, Ramsey. Floated deep, looking for big center back Ferguson, but Turner Humphrey, that's a big body too. He clears it out. Humphrey goes 6'4" from Redlands, California. UC Davis transfer has really become a stalwart in this back line. 21 games played, well now 22, and 22 starts since joining this Oregon State program. First of the match, O'Brien to take. 16 set-piece goals for the Irish this year. It's over a third of their goals. They are dangerous in this regard. Everybody, a lot of bodies at the top of the 18, some crowding the keeper, Castillo. Headed clear, chased down by Gennebacher. Russo scored that beautiful free kick goal against IU. Oh! Good move, and yes, Erbacher will give him the foul. Tough.
A player who's certainly grown as if he needed more in confidence. Daniel Russo, this magical left foot of his that was the only goal. And 1-1 draw that led to penalties against and in the quarterfinal.
I wonder if he does remember David Erbacher, who was a middle official, but also did red card Russo in the Wake Forest game. After Russo scored, there was an altercation on the sideline, and he did not finish the match. They held 1-1 against Bobby Muse's crew down in Wake Forest. Russo got the call here, though, and now Bafor will stand over it. The junior from Valencia, excuse me, the sophomore from Southport, Connecticut.
Just watch, you got Ethan O'Brien and Bryce Monroe who can play off of each other.
Headed out. Burns. Give it a hit. Now it's a flex, though, into the arms of Castillo. Tell you about some men's basketball tomorrow on the network on ESPN. Top-ranked Arizona takes on number 23 Wisconsin, 3:15 Eastern, 1:15 Mountain Time at the McHale Center in Tucson. Going to be a great game. Two very high-level teams. Obviously, Arizona number 1 and number 2 ranked Kansas host Missouri at the always raucous Allen Fieldhouse house afterwards. A great afternoon of college basketball here on ESPN and the app. There's Newman. Trying to dig it out.
Good ball.
Farrington skips ahead. Ferguson is there to D him up. He's got Williams wide open in the middle. Eventually gets it to Williams. Over to Cortillo. Saved. It seemed like it took a while to finally get a shot, and Brian Dowd stood tall at the end.
It's a quick little cut from the midfielder, and then that ball right there, beautiful by Arnaud Farnos. This reminds me a lot of the goal they scored against Providence, just right to left all the way back around. Good ball movement. Thought Dante Williams was going to dummy this, but I like the touch because it progresses it faster. Could you have hit this first time? That's the real question mark. Step through it on your left and hit it right away. Pick out the bottom corner. That slight hesitation allows the deflection in front of goal. Good sequence by Oregon State.
In with pace. Farnos puts it back in. Williams back for it, battling hard, bodies down. Ball played in, down. Corrales could not spill it, and now David Erbacher will pull it. We will stop the clock because it could be a potential head injury. I believe that's Dante Williams on the deck. So they're tending to Williams. At the same time, Luis Castillo got a yellow card, and we're going to try to figure out why. When he came to the sidelines. All right, Marion has more on this. Go down to Marion.
So, guys, that yellow card was actually to the Oregon State goalkeeper, Luis Castillo. He ran over. He was sitting about in a little less than the center circle, and he ran all the way over to the sideline official, yelled. I could not make out exactly what he was saying. Ran back to his further position, and then obviously the fourth communicated with the center referee. So the yellow card was on the Oregon State goalkeeper.
So for descent to Leland Grant, who is the fourth official, he gets the yellow. So he's the first in the book now in the 21st minute. And Williams now back on the pitch. About 22 minutes in. What have you made of the match here? Where are you at?
A little surprised that you haven't seen more combination play with the two midfielders from Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Ethan O'Brien and Bryce Brownell. One of the reasons for that is some of that inversion on the right that we talked about. Perry Belmont has come a little bit deeper, and so Betterat has done a really good job establishing a position in the midfield next to Arnaud Farnos. And so as he comes, you have to make a decision. Bryce Brownell comes high. It's almost a diamond-ish shape. Now, they're not narrow enough on the outside to create that true collection in terms of the diamond shape that I'm talking about, but it does allow more space on the side. That's why we've seen balls move from right to left and left to right for Oregon State. Higher pressure if you want to chase that route. The other thing is as you go, you open yourself up. You don't want to let Logan Farrington in behind. We've already seen twice that he does have the speed to chase down these center backs and push forth.
Brian, good tackle. Keep it in Notre Dame possession. Forward, and the man with red card in that Western Michigan match, he goes down hard. Slow to get up. Still has not got up. Just try to get on. Farrington pushes it out. The NCAA Men's College Cup is brought to you by Inspire Sleep Apnea Innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Going forward. Over to Bonneau, third-team All-ACC, former Gatorade National Player of the Year. A connection to bat 4 down to the channel, and really well defended by Newman. Gennebacher. Bryant's going to try to switch it out there. Got under a little bit. A little bit of a lob wedge. You need more of a 9-iron there. Scooped up. Tio. This kick. Forward, good touch. Rides the challenge. Bat forward. Newman battling him. And yes, Erbacher will pull it back. Really well done by the sophomore.
Well, this distance, though, is, you wonder as to whether or not it's a little bit outside the range of Daniel Russo. Don't tell him that, though. This kid seems to want to hit it from anywhere. Ethan O'Brien's got a solid right foot, too, if he wanted to get involved in this conversation.
The goal against Indiana, opposite side, 20 yards more to the near side of the field. Maybe, what, 5 yards closer? It was closer, yeah. But this is still, they're flirting with it. Bafor and it's Russo over it. Russo just dinks it. Burns is trying to make the run. He will get there. Lays it back. O'Brien thought he was going to hook it in. He didn't. Now Burns will with that left foot. Bafor drives it in, headed out by Notre. Exotic. 38% of the goals this year for Notre Dame on set pieces. As I mentioned before, 16 goals of their 42. Bafor to take. Second quarter of the match. Doesn't beat Lund. Or turnover there. Dowd was so far off his line, I thought Williams was able to look up, and he turns it over, though. Bonneau takes it back. Then Bonneau goes down. He wants a call, not going to get it. Newman and Bafor doing battle yet again.
He might come back to that, though.
Yeah, he's going to pull it back. And he also is going to issue a card.
Careful, Dante Williams. He's marking behind the scenes. Just unnecessary on the tail end of it. No reason. Hands away in from behind.
So Williams gets the card in the 27th minute. So you've got a goalkeeper and your forward, or one of your forwards on the yellow here for Oregon State.
He's fiery too, Dante Williams. Loved his personality.
His
was a fun one.
He's diminutive. He ain't a big dude, but he's got a huge personality. 5'6", spark plug of a player. I mean, he's been really good again in this tournament. He's got a point in every game. He's got 4 goals and an assist in this tourney. Remember, they've played 4 games because they did not get a bye in the first round. They were unseeded. It's been quite a run. We'll make our first couple subs here. Both teams readying a change. Tio goes back to Arnos, and then headed out by Gennebacher.
Oregon State corner kick. The kick will be taken by number 3, Portillo.
Betterat came short, and then there's a body down. And Ethan O'Brien is appealing for something. Now again, if it's a disciplinary matter that seems like violent conduct of some regard, David Urbacher could review it. And Logan Farrington, third-team All-American, Offensive Player of the Year in the Pac-12, both of those awards after transferring from Milwaukee.
It's in the perfect vision of the far-sided assistant referee too, and no motion whatsoever to the head referee that I needed to be checked.
Portillo to take. And Urbacher goes the whistle quickly for some contact in the middle.
Whoa. Just a little elbow thrown out there on the tail end of things.
Okay. By who? Where's the chicken wing?
To me, it looked like it was off our nose.
Spicer on it, all freshman team this year in the ACC, out to bat for. The overlap. What did you want there?
Wanted the ball to come sooner, but I will say that defensively, as there's contact there on Logan Farrington, very impressed so far with Enzo Newman on the far side for Oregon State. He didn't take the bait, just sat right in front of him. That slight hesitation, he jumped the route. He came out on it and just stepped right through the ball.
12 fouls already in this match here. It's been chippy. 8 for Oregon State, 4 for Notre Dame.
Yeah, the conversation normally against Notre Dame is you have to be adventurous. You have to be brave. You have to find a way to really start to peel away the layers of what you're capable of. Because as we've seen over the course of the year, Notre Dame doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. We'll say that they've been very inefficient on the ball tonight, making a lot of unforced errors, actually. It certainly doesn't hurt that you've got guys like Mitch Ferguson and Josh Ramsey on the back line to close some of the space down, because as good as Oregon State has been defensively, some of the patterns of play coming up through the midfield, they have been able to stymie a lot of the combo of Logan Farrington and Dante Williams on top.
This ball here, though, Williams to break the lines. Now he's charging at the back line. Looking for Farrington and easily picked up and scooped up. Blasted out by Patty Burns. All right, we will get the subs now. They've been sitting there for a while. Vicho Castro checking in, our 14 in black, the senior. Transfer from Northwestern, but from Santiago, Chile. We were told a lot of his family's coming up from Chile. Will be here, so he's excited to have that family support in the Oregon State section. And then Eno Ento checks in as well. Ento, a dangerous goal scorer to say the least. Put in 4 early this year against Pitt, but also a stretch in the middle of the season. He had 5 goals in 8 games, and second team all league. He replaces Nolan Spicer.
Black jerseys. Got to be sooner. Got to play that ball quicker. Again, they close you down so fast. Oregon State. Chad Riley is going to be on the sideline barking at his guys. Got to find a way to just have more of a rapid thought process coming through your minds. Even on the turnover where you don't have a ton of numbers, the ball's right there.
A couple other changes now coming in as well. Ellis Speichner, the junior from Michigan, second team all Pac-12, checks in. And then for Notre Dame, Wyatt Lewis will come in the game. He checks in for Bafor, who's been rather active in this first half. Lewis, a sophomore from Missouri.
Oregon State contingent on the far side.
Good support, man, from Corvallis. I love it. Come back to this in 1 second. Is now Lewis
Give
right
it.
in the game. Got Rue. That's one of your goal scorers. One of your tallies, man. Gets it on his left foot. Deflected. Russo! Save! Ramsey rising high for the header, but it ends up in the Oregon State possession. Going the other way, it's Castro. He reverses field. Betterat looking long. Spikner. And clear it out. Take a look at these Notre Dame chances.
It's quick. It's great how well that they work off of each other here. Watch the square ball coming back across right here. Beautiful. Just so smart by Matt Rue to not progress himself forward. He allows the play to develop. And as he just continues to funnel over the right shoulder, if that first touch of his could be a bit better, then he can swing right through it. Still able to get a second bite, but again, the story for this Notre Dame team so far is almost, right? Almost, but it doesn't count.
Castillo, first team all Pac-12 keeper, stood tall there. Tough to save, but he made it. Now Russo, ball goes knocked out of bounds off of him. Betterat pings it out to Newman. Newman working on Burns. Many veteran backline players here for Notre Dame. 3 of the 4 have played over 58 games. Genenbacher, Ramsey, and Burns all started that 2021 final. This goes back to Humphrey, semifinal, pardon me. Farrington. Leaves it off. Farrington is cleared out, and Urbacher will pull it back. And we're going to get yellow now, too, on one of the center backs, Mitch Ferguson. Could be a problem for Chad Riley and Notre Dame.
Logan Farrington's the problem in the best of ways. The guy just makes you work unnaturally at times because we've seen him play that high point. They want Dante Williams to drop down underneath. Well, Ellis Spikner comes on the field. Now all of a sudden, Logan Farrington comes and gets it, right? So he's all over the pitch. As the season has gone on, more and more comfortable in different areas as opposed to just the target 9 back to goal. He does prefer the ball at his feet in those deeper lying positions because he can beat the first guy and then start to allow the rest of his supporting cast to develop around him.
Farrington and Castro are there. Farrington gives it a hit down to his left. As we tick under 11 minutes. Alongside Devin Kerr up Dallin Cuff here at Lim Family Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Host of the College Cup here in 2023. The winner of the first game was Clemson, taking down WVU 1-0. This game here, Oregon State, the upstart, the unseeded team, trying to be the 6th team ever to be unseeded and win the national championship, taking on the 2 seed Notre Dame. 0-0 here. Marion Crowder, former Georgia Bulldog, down on the field. Devin, do you think Oregon State's had the better of the half?
Absolutely. They've gotten exactly what they wanted. They wanted the brunt of the possession. Thank you very much.
Drives it in! And what a play by Patty Burns, because Enzo Newman was standing on the doorstep.
I will say some words of encouragement, if you will. Apologize if the crowd mics picked up some unpleasantries, but Patty Burns not happy with the movement off the ball defensively. It's a great move by him on the outside on the cut back across. He's got Enzo Newman to mark, but he's also got the space to close down. Look at all of it available. I mean, coming all the way back across, both Josh Ramsey and Mitch Ferguson committing to the near post run. Credit to the veteran left back from Notre Dame, Patty Burns, and the move coming back across.
The big change that I have seen, Deb, to your point, is Logan Farrington really dropping underneath.
Cut back there, empty space. Nobody there. And Lewis spins out of some trouble, gets it over to Burns. Looking for Ento. Go ahead, Marion.
Yeah, when Logan Farrington is dropping underneath, that's where all the space right now is. This Notre Dame group, what he's doing is he's dropping, and the 6 isn't picking him up. And so he's able to get the ball on the half turn. He drives, and then the Notre Dame defense compacts enough for him to find that space out wide. And that last sequence we just saw, he started it and almost finished it. So he is all over the pitch, and I think he's actually finding a lot more success, to your point, Dev, not being the target 9.
And now the question's going to be is, how do you take advantage of that? It's good if you come down in, right, and you get the ball into your feet, and you get Logan Farrington to turn. But to challenge 4 separate players on the back line for Notre Dame, 1v4 is not the exact recipe you would like. So, Ellis Speichner, what's the collaboration look like there? I do like what I've seen coming off the back line with Enzo Newman. You know, the way that they start to pinch in and find those half spaces on the right flank, we haven't exactly seen that same sort of complement on the left side. So the balance lacking just a little bit. Wouldn't say that they're predictable at all. No. Just finding a balance to make sure that it's tit for tat on either side. Because you come in, everything's going to the far side of the field right now. Come here and make Notre Dame be honest about themselves defensively.
Tomas Betterat was down for Oregon State for a moment. He's up and good. It's good. The Rosario, Argentina native. Little town made famous by one Lionel Messi being native of there. Sebastian Green also checked in the match, 24 white. He replaced Daniel Russo. Maybe an opportunity here. Farrington got Ferguson on a yellow in front of him. There's your goal scorer working. And Simon Speichner got a little crossed up. Chance to tell you about the coverage of the NCAA Championships continues with the Men's College Cup Final Monday, December 11th, 6 p.m. Eastern here on ESPNU. Winner of this game gets Clemson. For more information on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to ncaa.com, the official home for all 90 NCAA championships. So Oregon State, you see Farrington and Speichner still having a lot of words there. Oh, down goes Green, hard by Farrington. Herbacher right into his pocket for the yellow. So they actually have their 2 starting forwards, Farrington and Williams, both are on yellow right now.
Well, here's the other thing too is, look, there's 7 minutes to go in the first half, right? Right around the 25-minute mark or so. Made friends with David Herbacher, our head referee. The tussle inside the box.
Yeah.
You don't want this persistent infringement to sit there on the front of that referee's mind. Quiet yourself down defensively if you can. I'm with the emotional side of the game, and for Logan Farrington, he's that type of player, but don't let it override the overall performance. The referee's shown that he'll pull another card.
Into brings it down, and Into off his arm. Junior from Derby County. Very interesting youth journey he had growing up at the Derby City Academy, played U18 UCL at the Champions League, the Youth Champions League at multiple levels. A lot of experience there, and has been great here at Notre Dame, second team All-League this year. That seems to be what you were talking about in terms of depth, though. Like, they didn't have a guy like him to come off the bench and change things in years past. Good step by O'Brien. He's got a lot of white jerseys in the box. Has to kind of go in alone. Mano intercepts, keeps it in. 6 minutes left in the first half. Ball picked off, and Vandenbacher's able to push it forward again, but DeGan goes back.
This is where you'd love access to some of the individual tracking metrics at the collegiate level. I'm not sure Perry Belmont has given a ball away today. So efficient in the midfield for Oregon State.
He's been really good. Josh Ramsey was great right there. Used his body so well to shield Speichner after winning that race, and then draws the foul. Expert move from the junior from Plano, Texas. Started every game last year, every game but one this year, every game but two in his entire career. 62nd appearance. Back to Newman. Sebastian Green working on it. Back to Ferguson to O'Brien. No foul called. Chance maybe to break. Outside of the boot pass to Farrington. He's charging forward. 1v1 with Ferguson. Ferguson on a yellow. And Erbacher will say that goes out for a corner, but no foul. Farrington can't believe it. Chad Riley concerned.
Didn't see a touch from our angle, and that's difficult to tell there too, because watch the ball itself already on a forward roll. You tell me, I don't see it.
I see a foul. You don't see a foul?
Then you've been playing too many Sunday league games.
I haven't playing in any. That's part of the problem. That's why you're here. You tell me it's not a foul. All right, we're good to go. Outswinging ball, bopped around a little bit. Varnos. Oh. Not the finish he would have wanted.
A lot of the game moving into the final third reminds me from the first match, where guys just a bit tentative, right?
Do you think it's the stage?
Yeah, at this point it has to be. I mean, just prior to this, again, watch the ball play to the top, step right through it. This is just head down laces, and the form is just nowhere near what you would expect from Arnau Farnos. And the Spaniard who's so keen to play in possession, put the ball on the ground, and certainly not afraid to strike it from distance. But just prior, Logan Farrington comes to the near side. If Speichner drags the run to the top of the 18, the back post run is on, but the communication's not there, the run's not there, and the ball doesn't come, and the frustration continues to mount. Now that could have been the argument for Farrington. You can talk about Vitor Castro on the near touchline as well. Certainly any of the substitutes that have stepped up through. Fabian Stroudy, the most recent.
Oregon State has really grown into this first half, and you can just tell by the differences in the bench, the energy on it. You got Oregon State players, every single one of them up. There's a group of Notre Dame players that are up, but the communication, the cheering, the rah-rah, if you will, is not the same for the Fighting Irish bench as it has been later in the half for the Oregon State Beavers.
A little more chatter from the Beavers. No hum now, hey now. Like the energy there. This team, again, they've got this great unity, great sense of us against the world, probably only heightened by Javier Armas being suspended. Nice touch by Speichner, and he's just trying to outpace Burns. And Ramsey able to get back in there. Javier Armas, one of their captains, suspended due to yellow card accumulation and then a clerical error where he was not taken out or wasn't suspended for the previous match against North Carolina like he should have been. Their coach Greg Dolby also suspended, not here in the building. They're playing though. Green. Kind of got a shot off, but it just trickles back to Castillo. Done by Betteret. Castro. Oh no. Looking for the long ball to Ento. Closed off by Humphrey. Lewis crowded out, but we were able to maintain the possession over to Burns. Run out the clock, if you will, here. Under 20 seconds now. Ryan will step forward. 10 seconds. And Walker will blast it in. He will send it out. Your thoughts on a rather cagey first half? Maybe. Jeez. All right, jump gun there. Devin.
You almost didn't set the stage.
Maybe I wanted it to be over. I don't know.
You were ready for dessert, and we haven't even hit the salad portion of the dinner evening tonight, have we? Credit to Oregon State. They were certainly the better team in the first half. They were daring Notre Dame to chase this game. They were saying, listen, this is what we're going to show you. These are our cards. On the left side, Patty Burns, are you going to go? Notre Dame's not taking that bait right now. They're a little tentative in their actions. I did favor the visitors, if you will, coming all the way from the West Coast in Oregon State in the opening 45 minutes.
All right, let's see what Chad Riley thinks. He's down with Marion.
Coach, 2 shots on goal in this first half. How do you create more success in the final third?
Yeah, I think we just have to be a little bit more proactive with our passing. I feel like we're moving it side to side and back too much, and we've got to get it to that next layer, get it behind them a couple of times, and I think you'll start to see more chances.
What player do you need to limit on the Oregon State Beavers team in the second half?
Yeah, I think 7 and 10 caused us problems. They found the pockets. We got to do a good job closing up those spaces and doing a little better job getting pressure on the ball.
Thank you, Chad. Good luck.
Thank you.
Dallin?
Well, that's 45 minutes down. Who will be playing for the College Cup on Monday night? We know they'll be taking on Clemson. Will it be Notre Dame? Will it be Oregon State? We'll relive that Clemson game. If you haven't seen the goal from Sean Smart, do not move. It was a worldie. It will definitely be on SportsCenter tonight. That's next. About to get underway here. Second half, second semifinal. Who's playing Clemson Monday night? Ball off Betteret's foot. And Owento gets the start in the second half. He's taken down. James Dooling, the far side official, flag went up right away. The contact. We heard Chad Riley with wanting to have urgency and be proactive, be brave. How fast should this be a kick in right away? Should we see it just from the jump of this half from Notre Dame?
That's the hope if you're Chad Riley.
Yeah.
There's got to be more of an energetic output because, again, Oregon State very clear in their game plan. They want to be on the ball. They want to frustrate Notre Dame. They did that. If you're Notre Dame, you can erase everything that went on in the first half by just coming out and saying, don't forget who we are. Don't forget we're the number 2 seed. We're a team that only lost once in regular season play, just twice on the year. We deserve to be here because they just look like a team that was at times disinterested within the game. I will say that you and I saw a very similar performance in ACC tournament play against Louisville. Now, they didn't come out on top in that game, but a tale of 2 halves, if you will. First half very quiet, the second half 3 goals, and they were incredible.
So as Farrington goes down, this is an interesting sub. Mo Williams has checked in, the grad student, transferred from Seton Hall in Cincinnati prior to that. He was injured early in the year, back to healthy, and as Mitch Ferguson went down with the injury, Williams stepped into the starting stat, had started 7 of 14 games he played this year. He'd picked up an injury, forcing Ferguson back in to play 110 minutes last week, probably before he was fully ready for it. We were told that Mitch likely wouldn't be available, but here Mo would likely not be available, but here he is. What does that do to a back line that obviously they're comfortable playing with him, but from an injury standpoint, we don't know where they're at physically.
My question would be, is this because Ferguson is laboring, or are you going to try and balance this as you come down the stretch here and kind of give both of them a little bit of time? And we've seen them do it. That's why for Notre Dame.
Wyatt Lewis trying to play a big ball to the channel of Ento. So a number of players that were subs in the half start the second half. Lewis being one, Ento being another.
I do like, personally, I like Maurice Williams better when the play starts to develop in front and you have to go challenge as a defender. In order to eliminate Logan Farrington as an option up top, it's usually a lot of one-on-one situations that needs the support to come with them. Didn't necessarily see enough of that towards the tail end of the first half. That's what I'm talking about right there. If Mo Williams goes, he's going to be a little bit quicker in the step, in theory, than Mitch Ferguson was.
Belmont plays it out. Ferguson is also carrying a yellow. Ball curled in. And Brian Dowd, if you're just joining us, first-team All-American goalkeeper of the year in the ACC. Mac Herman, semifinalist, steps up and corrals the ball. But Ferguson's yellow may factor into this too, because you could argue we disagreed, but there was a foul there where Ferguson went in a little bit, and it ended up not being a foul call. But maybe Chad Riley's wondering if he has the mental capacity to play that long on a yellow. Almost into trouble, able to get rid of it. Pushes along to Spicer. Well defended by Belmont. Belmont, another one of the Spanish players inside. Heavy Spain influence. Some credit Sergi Noose, one of the assistants again, one of the co-head coaches today. Spaniard himself. Long throw. Almost falls to Bonneau, who was winding up to give it a hit. It would be very Notre Dame of them to score off a long throw.
Let's bring it back. Back to your roots.
Back to 2021 squad, maybe a little bit. O'Brien. Driven in. Well done. Picked that off by Dagan.
I'm sure those captains, Philip Quinton and Mo Omar, are somewhere.
About to say, they're not liking that. They're not, so, guys, you were awesome. But you like the long throw.
I'm sure Chad Riley's hoping that Philip Quinton's in bed and his Columbus Crew team is preparing for MLS Cup final tomorrow.
Wyatt Lewis in space. Is he going to hit? No, puts it to Ento. That's it. Flag stayed down, breaks the deadlock. And a super sub, Ento. 11th goal of the campaign. And gives his crew the 1-0 lead, hooked up by Wyatt Lewis.
But just watch Wyatt Lewis as he inverts himself here. One of the things that you get is defensively, you have to challenge yourself against Oregon State. The way that they pivoted, Farnell's coming to the inside. Wyatt Lewis has to track a lot of that space, but then possessionally, you can benefit of it. Off the tackle, coming back across. He just allows the play to stretch right in front of him. Farnos doesn't step quick enough, and smartly done here by Ento. Just drifts off the shoulder. That is the tiniest of windows for Wyatt Lewis to put this ball through for the striker up top.
In the 51st minute, and Lewis, the sophomore, third assist on the campaign, really helped create that goal, and Ento, good finish. Notre Dame is stout defensively. We've talked about a third in the nation in goals against average. They don't tend to concede in the second half, though. They've outscored opponents 25-6 in the second half this season, coming into this match. And only twice have they given up more than one goal in a game. However, they did have the lead against Indiana and capitulated there in that game and ended up in penalties. This might fall to Lewis again. Back to Lewis. Ethan Bryant lets it run across his body.
Now they're playing.
So they got a little more juice to him right now. Gedenbacher on it. And he turned it over as he was trying to get it back to Russo. Well done by Williams. Bryant spinning, not winning.
Whoa.
Space, body goes down behind the play. And ball is kept in, though. It's Farrington is the one that was slow to get up. Good control by Bonneau.
Dear Lord, how many energy drinks were consumed at halftime?
This just looks like a different
they are
football
wide
team
awake
right
now.
Williams up high over Farrington. He's down holding his head. Williams appealing for a yellow card offense. And actually the clock will be stopped and Farrington may receive treatment because of a potential head injury situation.
I actually thought that Maurice Williams went straight up here and Farrington backed into him. That's the confusion by the center back from Notre Dame as well. Just got to watch his second step as he goes. That's a better look. He does come up over the top. It's close, but you know, real time, you think that he comes straight up in the air and that Farrington bridges him, but not the case whatsoever. Good refereeing there. And just the hope that Logan Farrington's okay. He's taken a couple of knocks here in the start of the second half, and that on the back, on the top of the head. What a trooper the striker is for Oregon State.
Takes the moment to get a little power goo, the gel pack. A little water as he walks off. And they'll get ready to restart it.
Shout to the sideline, though, for the two assistant coaches from Oregon State. Just relax. Remember, Logan Farrington sitting on a yellow card.
Yep.
So as any player, but especially a striker that finds himself in one-off situation, that's alone a lot, all this constant pressure, you got to be really mentally strong to be able to take all of that and then continue to move forward.
Williams and Farrington, both their starting strikers, are on yellows right now. Oh, London over the back of Ento. Ramsey goes up and wins that. What kind of response do you think you want to see here from Oregon State? Because in the balance of the game, they had the better of the play throughout the 50 minutes. And then that moment, those couple minutes started to turn, and then the goal changed the game.
Remember the comments from the sideline, though, coming out of the dressing room. 25, 30 yards in, got to be better, got to be quicker. And that's just been what it is you can build all you want, but just a little bit slow at times. Right now, hit it. Again, that ball is a little bit slow to get out, so it allows Patty Burns to set himself. I understand you get a second look, but still.
Burns pushes Newman off the ball.
If that ball comes sooner, you can either hit it first time or it's a little half drift across the body and then swing it in instead. Half hesitation, first touch, second touch, close down, and then you retain possession, but it's not the look that you wanted.
Ento takes the foul. Take a look at Notre Dame. Those 4 shots, half chances, but 1 shot, 1 goal. In the second half, they did look like a bit of a different team, and especially right after the goal, energized the whole group. Also for Chad Riley, you get a couple subs. You chose to leave them in. Lewis and Ento combined for the goal. Both came off the bench in that first half.
I like the movement by Wyatt Lewis. I mean, certainly on the goal, but himself and Genenbacher from the outside back position coming to the inside and just giving some more support to Ethan O'Brien and Bryce Bonneau in the midfield.
Oh. Oops. Look like my drive tomorrow, I'm sure. High wide, not very handsome.
Just give me the 3 wood.
You ain't lying, buddy. That driver's not coming out the bag. Great support from the Beavers here. One thing we did talk about with Greg Dolby that is critical, I mean, the Pac-12 is going away next year. And they had the luxury, as all the Pac-12 teams did, playing in one of the best conferences in college soccer, being tested against teams that not only get to college cups, but win them. Like Stanford, UW was here a couple years ago in the final against Clemson, and Clemson won. I mean, Oregon State's been in the Elite 8. They've competed in that league. Those quality opponents are going away, so how they maximize whatever league they're playing in, and then out-of-conference games with teams from the former Pac-12 teams, so teams of the Big Ten or the ACC, is critical to maintain this program's success.
What's on your wish list, right? You
Yeah.
can talk to us about it. It's because you can only control so much.
Yeah.
Certainly the school and the conference of what was, what's going to be, what could be financial implications as well.
Yeah,
and this is
100%.
a program that, you know, you talked about a little bit in the first half. Terry Boss putting it on the map. He, of course, departs in the spring of 2023 to be an assistant coach at Austin FC and MLS. And Greg Dolby coming over from Penn State doing a magnificent job of just continuing to steer this in the proper direction. But to build all of that, to then all of a sudden look around and go, well, really? To wonder what your next step is going to be,
What
because
league are we gonna be in?
they're far past establishing themselves. They are now a team that is regularly in the conversation in the Pac-12 of being a powerhouse. So how do you maintain that when there's so much uncertainty moving forward.
Castro takes the corner, floats in an outswinger, brought down, first time shot, deflects around. Newman, pressured by Ento, back to Farnos. Trying to hook it back in, right to the feet of Belmont. Burns just goes deep. Oh, whoa. Mistake by Farnos allows Ento to scoop it up. And he's just easily dispossessed and rolls out to a goal kick. Tomorrow, number 1, number 2 in the national poll for men's basketball on ESPN Saturday schedule. Top-ranked Arizona hosts Wisconsin, who's been really good as of late. Beat a good Marquette team, one on the road at Michigan State. They're playing on the road at Arizona, 3:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific, or Mountain. Then second-ranked Kansas hosts Missouri at the always raucous Allen Fieldhouse afterwards. Great afternoon of college hoops. Burns. Whip it in there, and Steele's able to crowd it.
And coaching staff on the sideline wasn't happy because of the lack of recognition, and then the step or lack thereof from Farno. They've brought in Detroit Castro just a little bit higher here in the second half, and the idea of some of the play coming back off as Dante Williams has come deeper. You get another player up top to help with the pressure. Got to find a way to get Logan Farrington back into this game, though. He's started to move out of it, right? Yeah. Ever since he took that knock in the middle of the field against Maurice Williams, unfortunately, the performance has gone dormant. So establish some of that confidence that I was taken by him. You know, he reminded me a little bit. I understand the personality was different, but just the confidence. It reminded me of Duncan McGuire last year from Creighton.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly he's gone on to do some great things in his rookie year of MLS play, but just a young man that, look, I'm here, and people are going to look and say, oh, it's a one-off year for me. Not the case whatsoever. Logan Farrington, very similar. This is a guy coming over, transferred from Milwaukee, who had 20 goals in 47 games. He's got 15 goals this year, right? It's not a mistake. The conversation.
Three-time Horizon first team player.
Bingo. And regardless of what that looked like in terms of know your opposition, he's here. You know, he's risen up to it for sure. Can tell you there's a ton of scouts looking at him for the upcoming draft. He's here to stay.
He's got good physical body, good feet, good pace. He can finish. Now
goes up and gets it, wins it in the air.
Belmont took a little shot there from Ento. Ento, the goal scorer, waiting to be subbed out shortly. Matt Rue waiting to step back in. Change 110 goal scorer in the season for another. Well, actually, now Ento's an 11 goal scorer. Under 30 minutes here at Lynn Family Stadium. Farnos about to take. Plays it square, changes the angle, and Spicer blocks the delivery.
Yes. I agree.
Out. Skywalk. Lewis battling in the middle with Bederet. Humphrey took a shot. We're going to get some consistent infringement. Yes, we will. For Ento, he was going to go in the book now. Goal and a card. And that'll be his final foray in the match for the moment. If you're new to college soccer, you can sub in the second half and re-enter. But he did his job as a striker, put his team up 1-0.
Wyatt Lewis tracked in, and as the ball gets sprayed over to the central spot, just head up. On a swivel, looking the entire time. Thought maybe he might try and pull it back and pick out Patty Burns, but smartly Ento had just slid in front of the outside back in Enzo Newman, and as he comes back across, it's actually not the greatest of first touches, but that is the beauty of Ento. Just adjusts himself almost in midair to stick this thing into the bottom corner off the right boot.
At sub 2, Aru came in. Fran Cortillo came back in the match too, the redshirt junior from Valencia. Tick under 28 minutes. Devin is shoeless again up here in the booth. Just want to make sure everybody knows that.
So is this fighter in front of me.
It's the little things in life, folks. Got spiders. Beautiful facility here. Just happens to be one. And you're wearing no shoes. Maybe he's coming to hang out with your toe gym.
It's not a thing.
I still don't understand what's going on, but I just want to let the people know what I'm dealing with up here. My work conditions. Brian. Content is to hold the ball for the moment being. And then Williams does that on cue. Thank you, Mo. Carnos plays the channel, giving Farrington a run, but Ramsey wins that race and then takes the foul. And again, Farrington's on a yellow. He's telling David Erbacher saying no more. Okay, he's got to be careful. You do not want to see a third-team All-American, first Pac-12 player of the world, Pac-12 player of the year, get 2 yellows.
He's very frustrated. And to be fair to him, on the other side, he's dealt with the brunt of challenges that haven't exactly gone his way at times. I'll say they are being a bit more adventurous on that left-hand flank. Fran Cortillo, we had seen it with Vitro Castro, and the Fran's come back on just a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Again, it's part of the natural progression, the way this team likes to build. The difference here is instead of releasing Enzo Newman all the way, they're creating this balance at both outside back positions that are saying, you know, we're just going to keep you here if you want to go. Most of the time, it's just heavy influx on the right. You pivot Farno in, and then you're done, right, Farnos, and that's it. That's not the case right now. So stretch wide, single pivot down underneath. Betteret comes higher. So it's more of like a 4-1-3-2. The idea being is that you get Dante Williams in there as the 10 that Greg Dolby wants it to be. But more importantly, it adds a secondary layer of support if you can get it up to Logan Farrington. If is the key question. Because defensively, Notre Dame has been shot out of a cannon here in the second half. Tracking much better. They are glue all over the field right now.
And Deb, to your point, the big key to that is if, and that is the big change that I have noticed with this Oregon State team is just that lack of composure. Coach talked about it at half. They need to have better decisions in the final third. They are doing some good things as far as their shape is going, but the build between the lines has really been inconsistent, and a lot of that seems to have come after the goal and the change of composure. They're clearing it away. They're not trying to find outlets. And, you know, earlier in the first half, we saw them really taking some chances, building out of the back a little, and we are not seeing that at all.
And Farrington did sub off there. Ellis Speichner back in the match, second team all Pac-12. Places the player of the year in the conference. I think that's maybe just to give him a minute, just kind of reset.
Calm him down.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, it's one thing to have him be absent from the game when he's on the pitch, to fully remove him because some of the lack of decision making off the ball, we'll say. And it's hard. You know, as a striker, you track defensively, you chase all over the field. When your team starts to build, you make the run, you don't get it. You make the second run, you don't get it. Tackles in behind you. But that's the mark of a great player, is they find a way to fight through it. And I have no doubt in my mind, especially having the one-on-one chat with Logan Farrington, that he's capable of it. But everybody in any walk of life sometimes just needs a moment, right? Yeah, take a step back.
So he's doing that right now. Farnos with the foul, restart quickly, turned over. Notre Dame fan base came down pretty well. If they win this game, we heard they will be bussing some students and some fans down, but hold on, this could be a chance here for the Beavers. Low ball played in, Mitch Williams read it all along. And now Bryce Bonneau is down. Junior FC Dallas Academy product going to get some treatment. We'll tell you about the inaugural NBA in-season tournament championship game. That's tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. NBA Countdown tips off our coverage from Las Vegas at 8. You got the Indiana Pacers taking on the Lakers. LeBron, as he said today, motivated by the $500,000 if they get for winning. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. The court's been compelling, I'll tell you that much. You walk into a restaurant, it's hard to take your eyes off the screen. You can't really see the players sometimes, but you can't see the screen right there. It's interesting. Bonneau is going to sub out for Ethan O'Brien. Grad student O'Brien from Washington, grew up in the Sounders Academy.
Again, going back to how different this team is, referencing Notre Dame from 2021 to 2023. Wyatt Lewis, beautiful assist on Inuinto's goal prior to his departure. He's come from the outside midfielder position. Now you bump him back in next to Ethan O'Brien. Again, just an added layer of depth within this team that, you know, it's one thing to have an extra striker, an extra outside midfielder, depth at the outside back spot. These guys are moving all over the field. Yeah, we didn't see that in 2021. A little bit more one-dimensional, if you will, and that's not a bad thing. Everybody did their job at a very high rate.
Yeah.
But you have the option, if you're Chad Riley, to just give this team different looks.
Oregon Spicer working hard in the press here, trying to generate a turnover. Oregon State did turn it once in a real dangerous area in the first half, but Notre Dame didn't capitalize. See if the Beavers can get something going. Little Dante Williams, again, been a spark plug. Got a point in every game in this tournament. They've got runners, they've got options. Low ball driven, down hand on it, Farnos! Saved off the line, Moore! Saved again! Still bouncing around! And down finally corrals. I believe you've got Patty Burns in the mix and maybe Josh Ramsey. There were so many bodies. The initial one was Ramsey, I believe. And you got the best goalkeeper in the country, but then you got the defense doing this.
Wondered as to whether or not he was going to cut it, but you don't need to when you have a ball like this. Good step by Dowd. He can't stay on it. And Josh Ramsey, incredible defending. Watch how quickly he turns here. Patty Burns is behind. He's on the line, but Josh Ramsey, after the first one to block, watch him step back up into the second one. Off the ground. I mean, plyometrics, ab workouts, not skipping leg day, everything for the boys in white.
Wow, and that was it. Talk about not resting on your laurels. You make an amazing play, you get up right away, and you make the next play that keeps your team's advantage 1-0. And Ramsey has been an absolute rock in this back line for Notre Dame since the moment he stepped on campus. The freshman, he started 62 of 60 games. He played with that 21 team. He was the young guy with all the old heads around him, and he has locked down that spot, and he has stood tall at a huge moment in his career and this history of this program.
And to give you an idea of him as a person, spent 35 minutes with him yesterday. It wasn't that he didn't have personality. He was stoic. He was a businessman. He's here to do a job. And yet that emotion that he just showed you, you can't tell me there's no will inside that young man.
He's here with a purpose, and he's trying to get it done. So is Newman, though. That is a good ball played in. And headed out again by Ramsey. Better see if Oregon State now can turn the tide and get some momentum just from that chance. They're on the front foot again. Belmont charging forward. Spikner out to Newman. Newman back post. 5'6" Williams couldn't get there. O'Brien trying to work through it. Ball to Spikner, and then Williams clears. This is starting to heat up.
And a sideline with words of encouragement. They're moving it. Just rapidity of play. Right? A lot of what you're seeing right now from Oregon State, it's not groundbreaking tactics. The will that we just talked about on the side from Notre Dame and what you saw individually from Josh Ramsey, putting the ball on the deck and letting it work. Just clean passing, much more efficient, a little bit more movement off the ball, I'll say that, but decision making, much more crisp.
Williams in that little pocket. Plays it forward again. Cortillo, he's off though.
But still, 3 sequences here in about 3 minutes from Oregon State. Haven't really seen that since the opening 15 minutes for the boys in black.
Fans urging them on as they can feel the tide turning. Chad Riley in his Notre Dame hat from 1842 can feel the tide turning. Had to give him a hard time for the hat. You got a new one? He's like, I like this. There's some superstition behind it. We're gonna get you a new lid, coach, especially if you win a national championship.
I didn't know it was better in our conversations yesterday. The back and forth about Chad Riley and his hat, or the guys from West Virginia giving Luke McCormick such a hard time, calling him 35 years old.
Within 2 seconds of sitting down, I was like, all right, we see the relationship between these guys. I like it. Sebastian Green now checks in.
I know that tides are turning, guys, but while we're here, I've got to do it. And Dev, as a center back, the most valuable player on the pitch tonight for me has been, who do you think?
Ramsey?
Absolutely. Between him and Kyle Ginnenbacher, I think those two guys have gone unsung this entire match. I think they have put in a lot of work. They got a lot of time left to go, but Dev, I know the center backs don't always get the love they deserve.
That's a nod to the position. It's also a shot across the bow.
I would say, I mean, Marion, in all honesty, when you work with Devin, the center backs get a lot of love because you're biased. Your bias
Don't tell her that now.
He just oozes out. Humphrey tries to play it to
good turn.
Farnos. Yeah, no, rolled the defender. Wolf Burns got the foul.
They're busy. This is
I'm saying Notre Dame's hang-on mode for 19 minutes does not seem like it's going to get it done. Oregon State has turned this game. Spiked her on it again, charging at Williams. Poked him, Lewis. He's having a good game. Cortillo tees it up. Fall to feet of Newman. Ederud eventually gets it back on the deck to Lund. Pass drags Cortillo wide, but he's able to corral it. Spicer, working hard. First team all ACC pressing, so Spicer's going to give you something too, but Beaver's trying to play around it. Mitch Ferguson, center back who started warming up below, ready to check in, see if he replaces Mo Williams. He's on a yellow. Now, should he just just stood on it for a second there?
To me, I like the idea of you step, make the, in that situation, what would be a defender? Oh, it's Dante Williams. You make the attacker defender, if you will, commit. But then you also are relying on someone like Maurice Williams to peel off of that to play the ball out. So you can't really fault Brian Dowd for going long. It's safe, right?
All right, so Ferguson now will come back in, and he's going to pull Williams out. And Logan Farrington checks back in as well. So as things started to turn, and he will replace Dante Williams, who goes off the far side of the pitch. Ferguson giving good minutes. Williams giving minutes, battling an injury. Mo Williams, not the Dante Williams, as both of them exited. Garnos finds Spikner. It's the return ball. Defended well, and Ramsey lets him hear about it.
Just a little kiss there by Patty Burns going by too. Elbow to elbow that slowed things up, that allowed Josh Ramsey to come back over, get his hips square, and allow him to be successful in the one-on-one situation.
Ferguson Got enough on it. Spicer clears. 15:30 to go. Third in the nation in goals against average. Notre Dame is. They can defend with the best of them, but I don't know if you want to hang out and just survive this. We'll see if they're able to turn the tide, possess the ball. There could be a chance. Bafford getting forward now. He's got Spicer. He's got Rue. Tries to play Rue. Good recovery by Lund. Crowded out. Looking long for Speichner. He's going to get there. One-on-one with Ramsey. Left the ball. Good for some reinforcements. Back to Farnos. Belmont. Farnos. Back out to Newman. Good block by Burns. Stops the service. Betterette. Little 1-2. Dinked over to Newman. Ooh. Hold it back and then cleared out again by who else? Josh Ramsey. Sixth corner of the match for the Beavers.
Josh Ramsey's going to be happy, I'm sure, on the highlight reel that he's heard his name a couple of times, but he's not going to be happy at how deep they are. They're sustaining a lot of pressure right now. I'm sure Chad Riley and Notre Dame would like to see themselves relieve some of that, push their line a bit higher. Again, the activity level from Oregon State off the ball. A lot more movement than we saw at the start of the second half.
Loaded in back post. Driving is Dagon. He'll just clip it back in the mixer. Oh, big Turner Humphrey was there. 6'4". Got up but couldn't keep it down.
The secondary put back forth. Just well done. You still allow it to develop too. He doesn't force it. He's stuck right at the top of the six and just drifts all the way back over to the right shoulder. And again, he does just such a good job just to even get a touch on it right in front of him. Nolan Spicer working back in off the set piece as well as Patty Burns.
Little 1-2 opportunity here. Ooh, Green just good step by Humphrey. Ran right into a brick wall. Humphrey is a solid 6'4" physical body.
Eventually, you're going to have to quit going through the motions. There you go.
Four battling with Newman. It's going to come to the feet of Farnos. He could get some opportunities here. Cuts it back to the spot. And O'Brien is there. Woo.
Oregon State corner kick. We take number 3, Portillo.
Portillo to take. 7th corner of the match. Whipped in. Let's make it 8.
Give it short right here.
Farnos is unmarked, and you see Bafford started to come out, went back. They're sending Farnos now back into the mixer. Floated ball this time. Charged down and cleared out. 10 minutes. The Irish seem to be in full-on hang-on mode, and the Beavers are knocking at the door. 3 black jerseys there. Nobody could really get a good clean head on it. Falls to Sebastian Green. He's got Russo in the channel, but he pulls back. Genenbacher's pass picked off by Humphrey. Can't control it. Green working. Well done to get out of that spot. That off of. Verbacher will say it stays with Notre Dame.
An interesting decision by Notre Dame to move Daniel Russo up onto the front line with Matt Rue. Just playing as a false 9 down underneath. They like him on the exterior, cutting back to the inside, but he's got a lot of energy. A lot of chasing down underneath. Has eliminated some of the combinations we've seen from the 2 holding midfielders from Oregon State.
This is the first time we're going to see now Speichner, Farrington, and Williams together. Williams, will he play kind of underneath those two?
A little bit deeper. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. You still want Logan Farrington as basically off the shoulder, the secondary option. He'll be kind of that intermediary, if you will. The question's going to be is how deep do they want Dante Williams to work?
Rue gets fouled. He had he had Russo. He didn't play him. Eventually fouled in a very dangerous area now, with a couple different guys that can hit this for the Irish.
You're going to be hard-pressed to find Daniel Russo having this ball taken out of his hands, and for Matt Rue, just that little cut back through. Could have hit it. Instead, smartly pulls up. Thought maybe he had the support out on the right-hand side, and no shots since the 51st minute. One would imagine this sets up for the left foot of Daniel Russo. Be careful here if you're Castillo. Took a little step back to his right now. There's a lot to the right side of this goalkeeper.
He can strike it with his left. Looking to equal the close to namesake performance in the All-Valley Championship. Goes low. Can't help myself. I'm gonna have to make at least 10 Karate Kid references. And Russo's in the fight. Big block though by the Oregon State wall. Keeps this thing in a 1-goal game with under 7:30 to go. Notre Dame looking to get back to the final in the College Cup for the first time since they won it in 2013, their sole national championship in men's soccer. They beat Maryland that year. The last time we actually had an all-ACC final. That was the first year Notre Dame was in the conference. The last year Terrapins were in it. 2-1 win. Bafford, he's got him off his line, and Castillo retreated and got there. Bold.
Easy, son. My boys playing FIFA before the match in the locker room.
I like it.
Brought the gaming system on the road with them. Can't fault him for trying.
When he hit it, I actually thought he had him. I thought he had enough pace on it. Castillo's far enough out. But the wind, and the wind is blowing against that ball. It's starting to rain as well. May have hung it up there enough for Castillo. Arnos to Speichner. Cuts it back. Oh, what a step. Genenbacher took it off the foot of Dante Williams, whose hands are on his head now, because he thought he was going to have a wide open opportunity. Bafford can't run it down. Good read by Humphrey. 6:17 to go. Man, not a key interventions by Notre Dame. You talk about efficiency, not making mistakes. They have put that on display. Now they're kind of playing 5 at the back now with Williams in there, Ferguson,
but flat lines.
And Ramsey, yeah.
Flat 5, flat 4, and then they're just asking Matt Rue to chase this side to side right now.
Ball driven in. Newman arrived with basically unmarked. Oh. And did not get anything good on it.
just prior. KK before. 60 yards out. Drop it down to 50. Low gear.
Cheeky. Didn't go though. He subs out now for Sebastian Green. With your Oregon State, are we going to see a little more route one from them? And you got 5 in the back though with Notre Dame. Like, what do you think the best way is to attack them?
I like the way that they're set up right now because you've got one of the best ball carriers on your team in Perry Belmont just sitting centrally. You can play off of him. A ton of guys who have confidence on the front line and different types of players as well. Farrington can play high, he can play low. Dante Williams, ton of energy. He'll run all over. A little bit lower center of the gravity. He'll find these little tight-knit spaces. You get Cortillo higher to hold the width. That's the most important thing. If he can get out there and you can work one of your extra defenders coming up through, now you're creating mismatches. It's when you get barricaded too deep and there's not enough movement off the ball, and then it's these 2v1s that Notre Dame is so good at creating that you find yourself in a false spot.
Sprayed out wide to Cortillo, but Kennebach's there. Cortillo goes down to heat. No call. Rue's up ahead, and Lewis is... Oh, wow. Good work by Lewis. Tries to play the early ball over the top to Rue, but Lund, who's deputizing for one of their captains and third-team All-American, Javier Armas, made a huge intervention there with his head. 4:15 to play. Can the Cinderella run for the Beavers continue? 3 straight games against ranked teams on the road. Beaten Carolina in Carolina. Beaten SMU 7-1. Beaten Portland in Portland. Avenging losses to Portland and Seattle earlier in the year in the NCAA tournament. This has been a dream scenario. They've got 4 minutes to keep it alive. Degan. Just blasted off of Lewis. Rue happy to head it forward. Belmont. Carry it forward. Leaves it for Newman. Lund. Out to Cortillo. Williams.
It is every single time they even find a glimmer of space. It's a swarm by Notre Dame players. Dante Williams drifts down into the corner, 3v1. And the work rate that they have off the ball right now defensively for Notre Dame, beyond impressive.
Floating and looking for Speichter. He does win the header, but Ramsey's able to clear. We are under 3 minutes. Newman would throw to Speichter. But to your point, there was that swarm. 4 white jerseys around him immediately. They're happy to blast it out. The Irish fans coming to life now. Williams got a point in every match in the NCAA tournament. Tried to clip it over to Newman. Quick note to tell you, coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the Men's College Cup final Monday, December 11th, 6 p.m. Eastern, ESPNU. Clemson waiting to play the winner of this game. For more information on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to NCAA.com, the official home for all 90 NCAA championships. The Tigers would love a rematch with the Irish. They beat them 3-2 early in the year at home at Alumni Stadium. So that was the wake-up call for the Tigers. They were not getting done what they had anticipated. A team that nobody picked to really succeed in the ACC, beat the preseason favorites. We know what Notre Dame has become. We know what Clemson has become. Are they on a collision course to meet 6 o'clock Eastern on Monday? We will find out in a minute and 36 seconds. Patty Burns taking his time. Just thrown away. Castillo gets it back in play. Lund striding forward. Degan. Williams. Pops it over to Newman. 60 seconds. Belmont. Spins out of trouble. Still Belmont. Over to Newman. He's got bodies in the middle. He will play it in. They were attacking. It skips through. Castillo tries to keep it in. Flag did not go up. No call there on the potential undercut to Newman. We're under 40 seconds. Lund brings it down. Can they get another chance to put it in the box? That last ball was dangerous. Out to Newman again. Left for Farnos. There's no pressure on the ball. He's got an easy chance to put it in. Whips it in. Headed down and out. 20 seconds. Notre Dame playing with fire here. 14. Now they held the ball in the Notre Dame section, so the clock will stop for David Erbacher until they get the ball to put it back in play. Finally, another ball is replaced. Can they get one more ball in? The countdown begins. Castillo charging forward. Clipped in. Hit out by Williams. It'll be an All-ACC final. Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern. Irish Tigers rematch. Devin, your thoughts on the past 90 minutes we just witnessed and the finish by the Beavers? Valiant effort, to say the least.
Give them credit, Oregon State, because this was a team that everybody had written off in the Pac-12. Nowhere near the conversation of making the NCAA tournament, and yet 8 games unbeaten heading into this semifinal. They had a lot of good, really impressive passages of play. Some controversy 24 hours ago. Did it lend to the performance on the field? I don't think so, because they had their chances. But they came up against a juggernaut in Notre Dame that since the fall of 2021, they've had the belief that they could get back here. They've done it in 90 minutes to get their next star. I'm pretty sure Clemson's going to have something to say about that.
Clemson's walking out of there with 4 stars, or Notre Dame's walking out with 1. We're going to take one final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 90, and we will look ahead to Monday night. A championship will be hoisted.